What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. Talking sports, pop culture, nostalgia, all things that are fun and exciting for the next hour, 15, hour and a half or so. Joe, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know how it went yesterday. We have some pictures to share here with you and Chica.
Yeah, Chica and I were at New Daikin Park, by the way. It's what it's called now. No longer Minute Maid, Daikin Park, where the Astros play. So this was part of the whole thing, Joe. Our first date ever was at an Astros game last year. So we returned to the scene of the crime to watch them play the Giants. Giants kicked their ass yesterday, man. The Astros couldn't bat for anything yesterday. But part of the deal of me dating this woman is she becomes a Spurs fan. I become an Astros fan. So we went out there. She bought me a cap earlier in the week,
There it is.
and they have the new Space City
Okay.
jerseys. And we walked into the Daikin Park, went straight to the memorabilia area, bought an official jersey. Now, Joe, let me ask you this question about being a jersey wearer, right? Because I'm not really a guy that wears jerseys a lot. I have a Wemby jersey, I have a Castle jersey, but I don't wear them all the time. I only
Yeah.
wear them on game day. But when it came to the baseball ones, I didn't want an Altuve jersey.
Why
But
not?
they had most of the players there. And is it wrong? Is it racist of me to say I only wanted to have a Latino name?
No.
Because I ended up getting Jeremy Pena's, right? But there was Altuve's. There was, Jordan Alvarez's. There was a lot of different players out there with Latino names that I could have gotten. But I wanted to have a Latino name, you know? Sue me, okay? I wanted to have a Latino name out. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll get Jeremy Pena. Young guy. I figured he'll be with the Astros for a while.
Hmm.
So I got that jersey. It was fun. Uh, Great place to watch a baseball game. Great place to watch the game.
So
What
my
I didn't
question.
what I didn't like about the game, what
Uh-huh.
I didn't like about the game, that they don't show replays on the jumbotron or the big screen over there. I
Uh,
want to see a replay of some sort. But Chica got a blinged out because you know Chica, right? You
yeah.
ask her what her favorite color is, she says glitter.
Glitter, yeah. So I was
And
gonna say, so she's gonna get a Houston Astros blinged out jersey. That means she's gonna get a
yes,
Spurs blinged out jersey.
we have been looking at a lot of them, dude. So that's what we're gonna do because in this household we are fans of the
But
Spurs,
look
and
at
I
what else
guess
she
I'm
did.
now a fan of the Astros.
Look what else she did. She matched it. She got it with the blinged out boots too.
That is true. It was a good game last night, man. It was a fun game. Astros were down. They got mowed down. That pitcher from the Giants was just left and right mowing them down. What I found interesting is the Giants have a guy that's been in the league for about a dozen years named Mike Yastrzemski. And his son, he's the grandson of Carl Yastrzemski, the Triple Crown winner back in the 1950s. Carl Yastrzemski, Carl threw out a first pitch earlier this week at a game. Dude's 102 years old.
Jeez.
Legend. Absolute legend. By the way, our chat is powered to you by MCS General Contracting. You can leave a message or two, and we'd be more than happy to share it. Their number is 774-9155, 774-9155. Again, we see Alex already in, Sam. Tex-Mex Frank is in the house. Chris Gonzalez, good morning, gentlemen. Lots to get into.
You know what I was gonna? They were making fun of you already in the morning. I joined in on it. The Our good friend Swiss that always likes to put all your face on
Yeah.
all these memes, across social media. He was saying, "I bet you Mike has a Dylan Brooks jersey." I said, "I bet you he does. He wears it when he's in the Woodlands."
It's funny because the chica will try to like joke with me about that, and she's like, "You can have like both jerseys," and I was like, "No, you can't. You can't." In fact, when it comes to the Astros, I even told her this yesterday, and she got pissed off. I said, "I will only wear Astros gear that says Stros, Astros, Los Stros, but if it says Houston on it, I won't wear it." So she showed me all these shirts, and if it said Houston Astros, wouldn't wear it. If it just said Astros, I was fine. Perfectly fine at that point. Lots to get into, man. When it comes to things, man, we have new rule changes in the NFL that just got released. No, the tush push was not banned, at least not yet. But other rules have taken effect that are pretty interesting for the upcoming NFL season. Again, we're just 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. I saw Mel Kiper Jr. and Adam Schefter go at it toe to toe today on Get Up. The big question about it all is, what are the Cleveland Browns going to do at 2? The owner of the Cleveland Browns outright admitted that Deshaun Watson, the trade for him from the Houston Texans, was an outright mistake. Deshaun Watson's still on the team. For him to say that this was a mistake and still have that guy on the roster and paying him $46 million a year is hysterical. But then the question becomes, what do they do at number 2? And then what happens if New England's sitting there at 4? Because New England has the desire to get one of 2 players, right? They want to get one of 2 players. Or what if both players are gone? And they're sitting there at 4. What do they do at that point? So it's pretty interesting. We'll get into that as well. Spurs back in action tonight, taking on the Orlando Magic. Do we even care? I don't know. We'll talk about that a bit.
And
we'll get some pop culture
news. Yeah, we do.
Well, what celebrity news you got?
Celebrity news. Somebody was declared cancer-free. So we'll talk about that. Somebody from a blast from the past, somebody that we all know, was declared cancer-free. So we'll share that later on.
And somebody was also declared to be single. Kind of interesting, going back in time. Our girl Sydney Sweeney no longer taken. If you want to talk about that, hey, have at it. But we have lots to get into today. Joe, we want to talk about the NFL first, man, because NFL reigns supreme when it comes to things. I know we're a big NBA town. We love our Spurs. We love all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is that the NFL is taking center stage right now because you have the draft coming up at the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
You have the questions surrounding who's going to be taken in the top 2. Cam Ward is pretty much, he even said it, he declared himself solidified at number 1. But then the question becomes about Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart. A lot of mock drafts say Jackson Dart could go as high as number 9 to the Saints. Others saying that Shedeur Sanders might not even be in the top 20.
Well, let's take a look here, Mike, at the latest, that the NFL has given us as far as the draft order. This is what's coming directly from the NFL's X profile here. So I went ahead and tweeted that out. But this is the draft
order. Number 1. Titans number 1, Cam Ward, formerly of UIW, University of Incarnate Word. Cam Ward, who also went to Miami, is going to go number 1 overall. The question becomes, who moves up, who moves down? Number 2, you've got the Cleveland Browns. Do they take Abdul Carter, the edge rusher? Do they go off and go after Shedeur Sanders? Because again, if you're going to get Shedeur Sanders, wouldn't you want to play him? But are you really going to have Deshaun Watson at $46 million holding a clipboard?
They have no choice. He's washed, bro. Deshaun is washed.
And then you have Travis Hunter, right? Who's Heisman Trophy winner, can play wide receiver, can play a shutdown corner. Do the Giants go after him? What if he falls to New England? What if Shedeur Sanders falls to number 4 and New England's like, we don't need this guy? And at that point, do they trade out of that position? The Oakland Raiders at number 6, every single mock draft has them taking Ashton Jeanty of Boise State. Every single one does. Is that the real thing to do? Is that the right thing to do? I look at it this way, Joe. Ashton Jeanty with Brock Bowers on the same team, that's badass, dude. Brock Bowers is going to solidify himself in the next 2 seasons as the best tight end in all of football. I remember during fantasy draft last year when I drafted Brock Bowers, and they're like, why are you taking him? Travis Kelce's still on the board. I was like, because who do you think he is? The next Travis Kelce? Yes, he is. The guy's 6'6", a machine. He's a tank out there. There's another big dude, big tight end coming out of Penn State who's supposed to go in the top 10. What do the Saints do?
I was going to say, what do you think? Do you think Shedeur Sanders will fall the way to the Jets at number 7?
That's a fun question to ask, man, because
I mean, would it be a bad choice for the Jets to pick Shedeur Sanders at 7? I mean, it is big time. They're in New York.
Well, the problem is, and this was the debate on Get Up this morning on ESPN with Adam Schefter and Mel Kiper Jr. Mel Kiper Jr., the notorious prognosticator of the NFL draft, right?
Of course.
He was talking about these draft grades that everyone gives. right? When it comes to certain players, right? You're at a certain talent level based on your arm strength, based on your mobility, your IQ, the eye test, and all that stuff, right? He was saying that Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders and Jackson Dart are mid to bottom tier first round
Oh
guys.
man.
That they have second round talent. But the reason why they go number 1, 2, and 3 is because the quarterback is such an important and vital position on a football team. You can't win without a quarterback. And you hope and pray that one of these guys is going to go. That going after an Abdul Carter, going after an Ashton Genty or a McMillan or Matthew Golden might actually be a safer bet because you know that they're going to be solid NFL players when it's all said and done, that they're going to have the 10-year career, the 12-year career if they stay healthy.
Well, Golden's been reportedly linked to the Cowboys.
Yeah, a lot of mock drafts have him going number 12, and that would be a great pickup for the Cowboys. Runs a 4.29. You have somebody opposite of CeeDee Lamb. You've given so much money to Dak Prescott. Why wouldn't you want to have another weapon for him? Again, you could also say that you need an offensive lineman. That's great, but you could get offensive linemen elsewhere. You can't get stud receivers in the third or fourth round. It just doesn't happen. Take a look at what they did, man. They're trying to play third and fourth rounders that they got in the last 2 or 3 years or that they traded for, and they haven't performed at all.
Yeah.
They haven't. And the fact of the matter is that this is all about player development, and it's also about the idea that beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? Look at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield in the draft, didn't he go number 1 overall?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, he was drafted in 2018, right? The 2018 number 1 overall pick out of Texas Tech and out of Oklahoma, right? So let's go to the 2018 NFL draft, right? And you look at the draft results of what happened there. Things don't always happen the way that they should. Because I'm going to go back. This is 7 years ago, right? Number 1 overall was Baker Mayfield to Cleveland. Was that the best player to get in the draft? Well, number 2 was Saquon Barkley, who went to the Giants. Would they rather have had Saquon Barkley? Would they rather have had Baker Mayfield, right? Number 3 was Sam Darnold, who went to the Jets. Sam Darnold just had his first good season last year with Minnesota. Okay, now he's got a starting gig now. Denzel Ward went number 4. Bradley Chubb went 5 that year. Look who went number 7, Joe. 7 in that draft was Josh Allen. Cleveland could have taken Josh Allen, but they took Baker Mayfield. Don't be wrong, Baker Mayfield is a good player. Look who went number 14, Marcus Davenport of UTSA. Went to the Saints. Saints gave up their own, they flipped first rounders and traded their 2019 first round pick, and it wasn't worth it, Joe. As much as I like Marcus Davenport, and he was the first rounder ever out of UTSA, it was a bad pickup, Joe. It was a bad pickup. But you go through the draft, Joe, and you're going to find that oftentimes the players that are drafted 10 to 25 have the long careers because they are the best at their position at a position where you need multiple people doing it, right? There are 30 NFL teams, 32 NFL teams, and really only 10 good quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
But they always go 1, 2, and 3, Joe. They always go 1, 2, 3, 5, somewhere around there. And I'm thinking about it, Joe. Maybe it's a good idea for a team like Cleveland, for a team like the Giants, to look at Shadur Sanders and think, you know what? We're going to get the stud pass rusher. We're going to get the lockdown corner. We're going to get the best offensive lineman. Why does the best offensive lineman always go 7 or 5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars this year? Why does the best wide receiver go number 8 or 9 to the Saints or Panthers as opposed to the Giants?
Or fall to the Texans, right?
Right. Why did Xavier Worthy fall to the Kansas City Chiefs last year? If you had a redrafted, Xavier Worthy would be a top 15 pick. Yeah. Why did he fall? It's because teams have an affinity towards certain positions, and they value certain positions better than others. Left tackle is more valuable to a football team than left guard, but left guard is still important. I question the value system of a lot of this. Oh, you can't draft a running back in the first round. Why not? Saquon Barkley is a good running back. Bijan Robinson is a good running back. Jahmyr Gibbs is a good running back. Look at Jahmyr Gibbs went to the Detroit Lions. Bijan Robinson with Atlanta. I understand the value. How about get the best player? If given the choice, would Cleveland have gone back in time and taken Saquon over Baker? Of course.
And look at that. Sam Salinas says Zeke was a good running back. He was when he first came into the league, but after that, he just got washed quick, man.
What happened, Joe?
The decline.
Did they run him too much early on?
I think what happened with him is his decline was really fast, man. I don't know if it was just the mileage or he just didn't keep up with himself as far as conditioning or what happened, but the speed, he didn't have a lot of speed to begin with. He was more, power.
Yeah.
And maybe short bursts, going out there and getting a couple yards for you. That's what he was. He was the battering ram. But even that, man, the athleticism that he had, that little burst of speed that he had, he couldn't even catch the ball at times. Remember, they would use him at certain times to kind of like, here, we're going to toss the ball to you. Go get us at least 3-4 yards. We can get a first down. That wasn't even happening anymore. He just couldn't catch the ball. I mean, even he could set a screen. Like he was good at going up there and setting some blocks, screenplay. Okay, go ahead and give a block or something. Let's go ahead and get some yardage. It just seemed like even that just left him. I don't know if his heart was in it anymore, man. Quite honestly.
His rookie season, he should have won Rookie of the Year. That shouldn't have been Dak. Dak was as special as he was his rookie season because Zeke Elliott was even more special. Like you said, he could catch the ball. At the time, he could block. But by the time he got to season 4 or 5, he just couldn't do much of anything. And it was weird because you look at it and you look at his age and you think to yourself, he's got to be in his early to mid 30s. The guy's still like in his mid 20s, right? He's like 26, 27.
Still young.
He's just washed. Just washed. Diana Rossini of The Athletic is tweeting a lot right now about what's going on at the NFL competition committee meetings going on right now. So according to Diana Rossini, the NFL has changed rules when it comes to overtime in the regular season. One of my problems with overtime, Joe, and they did not change it, is the fact that overtime is just 10 minutes. I think it should be 15, full quarter. But they kept it at 10. But what they did change on this, Joe, was that both teams now must touch the ball. Because it used to be you kick it off on overtime. Back in the day, it was what? First team to score wins, right?
Like
even if it was a field goal,
yeah.
First team scores wins. And then it was like, well, if you kick a field goal, the other team should have the right to touch the ball. And then it was also, well, if the team scores a touchdown, game over. Yeah. Well, now both teams get to touch the ball. So Cowboys play the Eagles. It goes into overtime. Cowboys get the ball first in overtime, score a touchdown. Game not over. Eagles get the ball. That is one of the rule changes that's out there.
I thought it was not the rule change, but the rule itself is if you score a touchdown, game over.
That's the way it has been.
You score a touchdown right out the gate, set, game over. And that's happened. First play, overtime, boom, hit the guy in the end zone. It's over, game over.
Right.
Don't even have a chance to retaliate. But at this point, what you're saying is that's not going to be the case any longer. The opposing team's going to have a shot to go ahead and put up some points.
Mm-hmm. It's basically say, give us one more chance. So now it doesn't matter anymore who gets not necessarily matter anymore who gets the first position, right? Chris Gonzalez reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, powered by MCS General Contracting, our chat line, saying simple OT rules, regular season, first to score wins, playoff until the time runs out. But that's just not what they're doing. just making a little bit of a wrinkle to it all when it comes to it. But I understand what you're trying to say. Other rules again, the tush push. He got floored.
Yeah.
A majority of owners were against it, but you need to have a certain threshold of owners. It can't just be more than half. You need to have 3/4, 24 of the 32 to pass it, and apparently they didn't have it enough. Matt LaFleur, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, said the number one reason for the tush push wanting it to be gone, not necessarily because it's an unstoppable play. He says it's a safety issue, that it's a dangerous play because it's a rugby play, not a football play. Found that to be interesting.
The one thing that I found interesting here with the tush push is they're going to go ahead and reconvene at another time. That's what their sources are telling them, per Adam Schefter. But it was interesting to me to see that there were 16 teams from the NFL that were already ready to vote against it. At this juncture, you just need, they said, 8 more teams to get on board, and pretty much that's it.
Right.
It's a done deal. At that almost they're gonna outlaw the tush push. So we don't really know what the consensus is going to be. I think it's going to be really close, but I still think the tush push is going to still live on. It's not going to be
survive 1 or 2 more seasons.
Yeah, it is.
The momentum to ban it is getting higher and higher. I think if more teams adopt it, there's going to be a desire to get rid of it. Diane Rossini of The Athletic is also reporting that replay assist has been expanded and it has been approved so that the referees can actually review more plays. Oftentimes you hear this phrase when you watch an NFL game on Fox or CBS or wherever, right? Oh, well, that play is not reviewable. Why not? So now it's been expanded, so more players are going to be able to be reviewed down the way. The Lions,
for the length of games now, does that mean that the games are going to go long because they're?
I don't care. Just get it right. Just get it right.
You're only the momentum of the game.
You're only allowed a certain number of reviews. So I don't think the number of reviews is going up. It's just what can be reviewed is going up. Now the Lions were trying. I was reading about this morning. This proposal got rejected, but it should have been accepted, which was the Lions proposed that defensive holding should not be an automatic first down. Dude, there's nothing I hate more than watching a game and you sack the quarterback and then you have an incomplete pass and it's 3rd and 18 and it's a 5-yard defensive holding, automatic first down. I mean, how do we go from 3rd and 18, have a 5-yard penalty, and it be first down? I never understood that. The Lions raised their hand and said, this needs to be outlawed, and it got shot down. Defensive holding is still a first down. Now, there's going to be changes to onside kicks as well.
That's what I was going to say. I think this is one of the biggest changes that I saw here. So not even just the onside kicks, but kicks in general. So go ahead and say what we're going to say about the onside.
Well, the onside kick is whack, man, because it used to be you'd have to line everybody on one side, you kick the ball, you bounce up in the air, you just plow through and try to get the ball, right? And it's now like, oh, well, half the people need to be on one side, the other half, and we need to declare what side we're going to go on. It's lame, right? But in order to promote more activity, because again, the players line up pretty far away from each other now, right? And it's just one of those things where you're not having a 50-yard sprint to go, mug the guy. Touchbacks, which was the 20-yard line, right?
Yeah.
Because now we see that, right? Why do we even have kickoff teams? Because you and I could be on the kickoff team because 90% of them get kicked through the end zone, right?
Yeah.
The legs are so strong because these aren't just football players. These are guys that they're bringing in now that are soccer players, right? We went from the 20-yard line to the 25. Touchbacks are now going to be the 35-yard line.
Dude, that's big time, man. That's a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they wanting to do? Are they wanting to go ahead and increase point production, offense? Is that what they're trying to do?
No, what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, kick the ball in the field. Kick it to the 5. Let them run it out.
And this dumb thing is, if they do stuff like that, what are they going to get? Maybe 20 yards, 15?
Exactly.
I mean,
The incentive is to have a play happen as opposed to 90% of kickoffs, which are what? Touchback to the 25 every single time. Again, the tush push is going to live on to see another day.
I believe so. And this is funny. I saw a meme that somebody had put out, and they're just hoping that it's an April Fool's joke. All the rule changes that they're implementing. Please say psych.
Also, what failed was the Detroit Lions' proposal to reseed the playoffs based on record.
That
Okay,
was interesting. That was interesting.
that's lame. I understand the argument, right? I understand the argument. The argument is that you have a team like the Minnesota Vikings who went 14-3, having to go on the road to play a team that was 10-7. And like, well, they won their division. Well, their division was crap. We've seen teams, Joe, 9-8. The NFC South, dude, the Saints and the Buccaneers, and the Falcons going at it. Who's going to be 9-8 to win the division? Should they have a first round home game and play a team that went 12-5 in a different division just because the other team was unlucky enough? Because the one team was lucky enough to be in a crap division, the other one was unlucky enough to be in a good division. That the unlucky team should be punished simply because they were in a tougher division. In fact, so you have the Detroit Lions who's proposing what I think is common sense legislation when it comes to it all. But every time that they raise their hand, it's being done away with. Other things, the Steelers wanted to allow Zoom phone calls or Zoom calls during the legal tampering period. Again, that's the point of free agency, where you can't sign somebody, but you can talk to the other team or the player, as opposed to just phone calls. Can we do a Zoom? Can we do a FaceTime? So funny, dude.
Did you hear what that's happening too with Netflix and the NFL? This is
Oh, what's
something
going
that
on?
came through here. I've been seeing it. So the NFL will continue playing games on Christmas with a triple header plan for the 2025 season. And it falls on a Thursday. So the first two games will be on Netflix, while the night game will be on Amazon Prime. And hopefully, no issues. You're going to be able to watch NFL games on Netflix without any lag or any type of technical issues.
It used to be the NBA's day,
It
right?
used to be, man, but now it's not only NBA games that you have most of the day. You have NFL games as well. I don't know, man. I mean, remember back in the day, you used to get up and used to be like, man, I can't wait to watch NBA all day. And now what? You're going to have more than one screen, to be able to watch everything.
Right. Well, I mean, it being on on Netflix is a big deal, man. We've seen games on Amazon Prime, the Thursday night games. We've seen some games on Peacock. I hate to say it, man. Peacock did a very good job this year because they had the Olympics. They're used to sports games, big time sports games being on. Peacock does a fantastic job. Amazon, it's all right. The interface kind of sucks.
No,
The production value is fine.
the stats are good. Like if you go ahead and you turn on the enhanced stats, it's almost like playing like Madden. You get to see all the advanced stats and all that. That's cool, man. I like that about the game. But I gotta agree. Like I think both the Peacock Network and what they do there with their sports, let's say live streaming and whatnot, they do a great job. How many issues did you have watching the Olympics? None.
None.
You watch an NFL game. How many issues? None. Amazon Prime, you watch it. How many issues they have? None.
Peacock is what? NBC.
Yeah.
NBC, which used to have the AFC football games back in the day. NBC is a legit sporting organization. They do a fantastic job putting on games. And for Netflix to have it, you're going to have all these people coming out complaining, Oh, well, this is a subscription service. Not everyone's going to be able to watch it. Dude, everyone has Netflix, man. And if you don't have Netflix, make more money.
Oh, come on, Mike. But you know what? All the women aren't going to be able to watch their K dramas or whatever they're watching,
The K dramas.
Korean pop dramas or whatever they watch,
Is
Love
it
is
cake?
Blind, all that stuff, the reality shows. Because oh, I can't watch my reality show because the whole service sucks right now because everybody's watching their NFL games. And you know what? They brought up a good point here, a good topic of discussion. It was Sam Salinas' comment here. He says, "How is the NBA not raising a stink about the NFL playing on Christmas Day now?"
Oh, they did. They did. And the NFL was like looking the other way, like, what do you do? I thought there was enough room at the table for both of us. The NFL just simply does not care. The only thing that the NFL cannot do, Joe, by rule and by law, is F with high school football. That is the only thing they can't do. Notice that they have look at all the games they have, right? They've got Sunday games, they've got Saturday games, they've
Uh,
got Monday night games, they've got Thursday night games. What do they not have, Joe?
what?
Friday night games. You know why, Joe? Because there's an outright congressional law signed into law by the President of the United States 45, 50 years ago that said the NFL cannot F with high school football.
They
Cannot
can't.
F with Friday night lights.
They can't. But if they have a game on a Friday night and
It
it's
has to be
technically
outside
not
the
in this
U.S.
country,
It's out of the country.
it's still good.
Dude,
You know what?
some dick with the NFL read that law and said, "There's got to be a loophole.
Let's go have a game in Brazil.
Let's go because you cannot have a high school football game. I think within like 90 miles of the facility,
Yeah.
and they're like, "F them kids, dude."
Look at
But
this
that is the
Mexican
rule. That is
Junior.
the law.
Mexican Junior's comment is funny. Jimenez now saying people without Netflix are poor.
Dude, that was coming up from way back downtown,
Oh,
dude.
here, right on cue. Here's our boy Swiss. What's up, Swiss? Let me subscribe to Netflix. He goes, hold up. It's going to ask me to provide my 1099s.
Joe, I went to Costco the other day, and the TV screens get bigger and bigger, right? I remember growing up, we had that brown TV, that brown, it was kind of like
Oh, the
furniture.
console. The console
Yeah,
weighed like 800 pounds.
yeah, and at some point the button came off, and we had to have pliers installed into it, and they were constantly on that TV dial, right? And then you had to like lick your fingers like that, and then pop that thing out, right? The TV was maybe a 32 inch at the time, right? You
Oh,
go off,
25 inches. It was a 25-inch TV.
you go off, and then I remember the first major purchase I had as an adult when I got my first apartment was I bought a big screen TV. And I think the big screen was maybe 48 inches. It cost like $3,000, Joe, which is like in today's dollars, like $6,000. And it took up like half the wall, and it was like it extended out about this far, right, from the wall, right. It took real estate on your living room, and then it was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a 50-inch TV, and then it became a 55, and the TVs just get bigger and bigger and bigger. My bedroom in my old house was like a 65-inch, big enough for me, dude, big enough for me. Chica, when I met her, was rocking an 85-inch TV. I went to Costco, Joe, and they had a 98-inch TV on display for $1,300. 98-inch 4K, and I'm thinking to myself, is that the next major purchase?
Maybe. But
98-inch. Well, but part of me is thinking to myself, no. 98-inch. Screw that. I want a 100-inch TV because 98 inches doesn't sound appetizing to me. But if you told me it's a 101, 102, we can make it happen.
it's not the size, it's how you use it, Mike. Oh, man. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I mean, you have all these great deals now with these TVs. But if you go to Costco, and I go to Sam's too, right? I go frequent Sam's Club. They have a ton of TVs in there too. I mean, some good ones. Samsung, LG, all the name brands, and they're huge screens and they're cheap, dude. Like
Yeah,
sometimes they're like 1,000, less than $1,000 for like an 85-inch TV,
Chica and I,
OLED, dude.
Chica and I got her daughter. We went to a Costco in Miami last year for her Christmas gift. Was like I think we paid for a model for the what's it called, the floor model.
Yeah.
It was like a 70-inch TV for like $300 for the floor model. But it's funny, man, because the TV game has become different. It's flatter now. You have like the curved TVs. They come downward. The when they get mounted and whatnot. It's fantastic, man. I mean, it's gotten to the point, Joe, where going to games is not as good as actually watching it from home. Like, went to the baseball game yesterday. Went to see the Astros. It's a different experience going to the game than watching on TV. Watching baseball on TV sucks, right? But watching the NFL, watching the NBA, watching Spurs games on an 85-inch TV, a 65-inch TV, 70-inch TV is so much better sometimes than going to the actual games themselves. I go to the games because I want to
Yeah.
show my fandom. But it used to be I'd go to like 8 or 10 games a year. Now I'm probably like a 3 or 4 times a year kind of guy because I can drink at home. It's cheaper. I don't know.
You rather stay at home and watch a game?
NFL, yeah.
NFL, I mean, if you're going to go watch a game, I mean, how much are you going to spend on a general outing for an NFL game? So let's say you go to Jerry World and you buy 2 tickets. That's already like 600, $800. If you're going to want to sit in the stand somewhere, that's okay. Not even like lower bowl. That's like still in the nosebleeds. Pay
Right.
for parking, pay for a hotel for the night or whatever, or a weekend. Buying drinks at Jerry World, and they ain't cheap. Neither is the food. After everything's said and done, you're easily over what, 1,200?
Mm-hmm.
Just to go and watch a Cowboy game, and then probably they're gonna wind up losing anyway. So you got to contend with that too.
It also depends on the team. If you want to be a Cowboys fan and want to go show your fandom in person, that costs more than being a Texans fan or being a Saints fan. Dude, I got good seats at the Saints for like $50 a pop. No cost for parking, other than just getting the $12 thing at the garage a mile away.
Now you have to
Good.
pay $100 to park at Jerry World, dude.
Yeah. The food's expensive. Going to NFL games is a ripoff. And then on top of that, the people who do go to NFL games are usually drunk off their asses, and you can't really take your kids anymore because they're jackasses. And all the girls that go to the games, NFL games, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants games, are all like low class, dude.
Look at that GHNSB. It might be cheaper, but you can always just make more money.
True, but cheaper, but it also is better, Joe. It's also better. Do you know what I'd rather do, Joe? I'd rather go to a sports book. I'd rather go to Lake Charles. You telling me I got to spend hundreds of dollars to go to a Cowboy game? Let's go to Lake Charles. Watch it on TV at the DraftKings Sportsbook over there. Place $500 or $600 in bets. That's what I want to do, Joe.
They said Mike's capping again.
About what?
I don't know. They always like saying that to you. And look at Tony Ornelas. He goes, Joe, TV size matters for the ladies. Save money. Netflix nights are cheaper than going to nice restaurants.
And it's questionable about like what is fun to watch. I'll give you an example. Chica and I will go, like the last movie that she and I went to together, we saw Terrifier 3.
That's gross, dude.
We saw, I know, I hated it. It was stupid. We also went to go see Beetlejuice, right?
Twice.
Yeah, it sucked both times. We're in for tickets for $30, right? She wants to get a couple of beers or a margarita. I want to get a beer or a margarita. She wants to get popcorn. I want to get candy, and we're in and out for $100. And we feel like absolute morons because we could have been at home, have gotten that movie on Amazon Prime or some Fire Stick somewhere, and just watched it from home. Gone to Dollar General, gotten candy, microwave some popcorn, and would have been in and out for $30. The movie experience, unless it's like a really, really, really good movie, is not there. Netflix is better. Going to an NFL game, going to Jerry World to watch a Cowboy game is for suckers. It's absolutely for suckers. If you're going to Jerry World and spending $100 for parking and $300 each for tickets, and then $150 on merch, and then $150 on candy and soda and beer and all that for a lousy ass ticket, for lousy ass seats to watch a lousy team who hasn't won dick since Boys to Men was popular, you're a sucker.
You know what was
Absolutely.
cool?
You know what? Do you know what you could have done with that money, Joe? You could have taken that $1,000 and bought scratch offs and been better off.
Or buy some was it some stock, you know?
Yeah.
Buy
Yeah.
some stock.
Fund your IRA, right? Put it in your 401k.
What I was saying is there's this cool experience. I believe I saw it over in Dallas where they have this huge curved screen, right? It's almost like, the dome or whatever they have over in Vegas. But the curved screen looks so amazing. Like when you're there watching and they show the video of it, it's like you're right there in the thick of the action, like you're on the field, you know? And you have that like experience, like if you're there, but without having to pay that hefty price tag, but you're watching it in the theater. So you can go ahead and just push the button, have them bring you your drink and food.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind doing something like that. That looked like fun.
Well, you and I have been talking about this, about how we've reached a point in life, our age in life, where I don't say this phrase, you say this phrase.
I'm afraid to say it. I'll say it with my chest out.
Say it with your chest out.
What? I
You
don't
don't
like.
want to. You don't.
I don't want to be with the peasants no more. Fuck that. Dude. Fuck that shit. I'm not gonna be waiting in line 2 hours. Be sitting down there and gravel and shit. Fuck that. I ain't doing
I
that.
want air conditioned bathrooms.
Yeah, I want the nice bathroom. I'm gonna want my own private bar. I don't want to be over there with the peasants. Fuck that, dude. I want to be there an hour early. Just walk in. Just all right. You get to go check through security, and you go sit down. If you're
Right.
gonna take a date with you, right? You're gonna be standing in line sweating for 2 fucking hours, dude, and then have to stand down there, the cheap seats. You're not even sitting down. You're standing up.
Sweating. People
No,
all over you,
and then
holding
you
in
have
your
to go
pee.
gotta go to a porta potty that's already all full. No, man. F that, dude. I'm done with that.
Yeah, dude. I get that too. It's funny. I went to that concert about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Lake Charles to go watch Babyface in concert.
Yeah.
I am tired of bad seats.
Yeah,
We
if you're gonna
we we
go,
we
enjoy it.
we splurged for eighth row seats. It was worth it, dude.
Yeah.
And Chica and I went to go watch the game yesterday. The Giants play the Astros over at Dyken Park, and she said something to me that I thought was interesting. Was we were on the app to buy tickets, right? And I'm looking at tickets that are cheaper, right? Not bad, but that are cheaper. And she goes, Michael, how many games are we going to go to this year? I said, minimum 2, maximum 3. And she goes, okay, well, if we're going to 8 or 9 games, we'll get your tickets. But if we're going to 2 or 3, we're getting the good tickets and we're paying for the closer parking because I ain't going to do it.
Yeah, dude.
And it was her way of pulling rank on me when it came to it all.
Yeah, look at Sam Salinas says, are you talking about the immersive theaters, Joe? That's a cool concept, but the seats are limited. You have to get a good seat. They sell out fast. Yeah, but those immersive theaters are really cool. And here comes Lehi. He's saying Joe went to Don Pedro so he could call people peasants so they can't say he's changed completely. No, I just went back to my roots. That's where I grew up, on the south side of town. If I don't want to hang out there with all the people at the bottom buying those cheap seats, that's fine, dude. I don't want to anymore. I don't have to.
Tony and Al's asking me about how much the Babyface tickets cost. I think they were like $150 each to get down there. If I wanted to be further back, it was probably $75 to $100. I'm actually surprising Chica with a show that she wants to go to. She doesn't know that I'm surprising her, so shh, everybody. But I'm trying to get tickets for later on this summer for something. But again, don't want to go cheap. Want to get it done the right way.
Go to the VIP area over there at the Oyster Bake, Mike. I might be out there with you. Fancy
That's
meeting you here.
well, I mean, that's a good show, man. But Chica and I have a trip that we're going on at the end of the month. So, a little FYI, there'll be a couple of days that I'll miss of the show. Speaking of which, Joe, there's a possibility that I'll be missing some shows this week as well. Maybe Thursday and Friday. I've got a family emergency out in California that I need to attend to.
Dude.
So it's we'll possibility. We'll figure that out. I might have to fly out to LA to hang out with family. So we'll be looking at that. But
Hopefully
Joe,
this time, no more COVID, Mike.
oh my God, last time I was over there, I had COVID, and I was
Yeah,
I flew all the way out there to be quarantined for a week.
for a week.
Brutal. You got the MCS hat on?
I
They've
do.
been with us since day one. Let's show some love to our friends over at MCS General Contracting. They power the chat. MCS, that Diamond Heart Concrete.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Again, MCS General Contracting, they do it right. They do it right the first time. Give them a call. What's that number, Joe? 774-9155, 774-9155. Chris Leha is very, very, very good at what he does. And, I've been able to rely on him for advice when it comes to home matters and everything like that. He shoots straight from the hip, man. I enjoy it, man. 774-9155.
Yeah, it's home of that Diamond Heart Concrete. And when you want it done right the first time, make sure you always call MCS General Contracting for all your concrete needs. Again, the number 210-774-9155.
Mexican Engineer reaches out to us and says, "Damn, Jimenez acting like the guy that gets champagne service at Wild Zebra, LOL."
Bottles.
First of all, my former father-in-law referred to Wild Zebra as the petting zoo. First and foremost, I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Secondly, that's just bad money, dude. Anybody goes to strip clubs, why waste your money? That's the dumbest money ever spent is going to a strip club. I don't care. Strip club is number one, and number two is like, I don't know, Ojos Locos. Joe, so last night, in yesterday's show, rather, I mentioned the fact that there was a shooting at a bar.
I saw.
I don't know if you saw this. There was like one person killed, 4 people shot at a bar recently.
Yeah.
This was over the weekend. This was over at let's see here. I have it here. It's a Northwest Side bar called
Started with an A.
Aura.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
On Ironside Drive, happened at 1 a.m. Monday morning. Aura, which, if you don't know what this is, the Lodge Poker Club, which used to be called Rounders, is in the same shopping complex. My daughter reminded me that I took her there about a month ago. So Dad, she was like, "Dad, is this where you took me?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I looked up the name of it all. And I feel bad for the people who run that place because Aura is in the same parking lot. It's not in the same strip center as the Lodge Poker Club, what used to be called Rounders. It shares the same parking lot because it's on the other side of the shopping center, right? It's like both places face each other. And I went to go play poker. My daughter met up with me. Chica was with me. My daughter's friend was with me, and we heard the music coming out of Aura, and we went over there, and we had a blast, man. A little bit of hookah, that's fine, whatever. Had a couple of drinks. We did some dancing there. It was what was the theme of it all? It was like a Caribbean themed type of thing. African influences, Middle Eastern influences. The music was different, the vibe was different. You can tell that the service was good. But apparently, a fight broke out between two patrons. One person started shooting it up. Another patron pulled out his gat, returned fire. They both shot each other. One person was killed. Then three people, innocent bystanders, were also clipped, also shot. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to that place. But I actually enjoyed my time at Aura.
Yeah, another thing that we haven't talked about that was news for us over here. We had some hail falling yesterday,
I
man. When I
heard.
was in the middle of work, dude, I could hear it coming down. I had a break, went out and saw some, see if there's any damage. There was none. Just a bunch of little hail fell all in the backyard, front yard. Question was, were the dogs outside, Mike?
My dogs were with my dad, so that's basically it. I'm looking at a husky refuge for Duncan. That dog has gotten to be too big for me. So looking at that, I'm hoping my family's going to take him in. To be honest with you, that's
Man,
why I'm stalling. That's why I'm
Duncan's huge.
stalling. Huh?
Duncan's huge, man. You could put a saddle on him.
Duncan is huge.
He looks like a wolf, dude. Full on wolf. Duncan does.
Oh, I know. He's a wonderful dog. He really is. But
Yeah.
I don't have the yard space at any of my places for what he needs. So we'll kind of go from there. We'll figure it out, man.
Duncan needs to be like a sled dog. He would be the lead sled dog out there in Alaska somewhere, pulling that sleigh,
That's funny, man. Somebody on here, I think it was Sith, came out and said that his girl loved Chica's shoes, her boots.
Oh, I think that was Sith. That was Elias.
Yeah,
The blinged out boots.
yeah. It was good times, man.
Yeah.
She liked
They were saying that the Huskies suffer in the area because of the heat. It's too hot.
Yeah, it's funny because people are always like, not when it's hailing. That's when I know it's bad, right? But whenever it's cold outside and rainy, and everyone's like, "Bring your dogs in," Duncan will look at me like, "This is wonderful. What are you talking about? This is my type of weather, right?" So it's kind of weird, man. They're in the wrong environment when it comes to it all. It's a wonderful dog, though. Wonderful dog.
And we're going to go ahead and look at the latest standings here, man, from the
Sure.
NBA. They were just released again. You got the Eastern and the Western Conference. Let's take a look and see where the Spurs are at right now with just a handful of games left in the regular season. They're holding steady at number 13. I don't see them catching, the Phoenix Suns or even moving up to number 10 there with the Kings.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
it's coming over,
we
man.
really have to like understand that we need the Spurs to lose out.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think it's time to pull the plug, man. Just sit Vassell, sit Castle, just let them cruise, man.
yeah. Right now, the Spurs are holding on to the number 8 position in the draft. If things hold the form, right? Number 8 pick is a 26.3% chance of getting into the top 4, a 6% chance of having number 1 overall pick. If you can show the Eastern Conference, here's the problem that you have for the Spurs because the Spurs have Atlanta's unprotected pick. And if you look at the Eastern Conference, Atlanta, because they've won the last 2 games, has moved back into the number 7 spot. So the way the play-in tournament works is that the 7 team, I think a lot of people think that 7 plays 10 and 8 plays 9, but that's not correct. The 7 plays the 8, the 9 plays the 10. When the 9 plays the 10, so in this situation here, the 10-seeded Chicago Bulls would go on the road to take on the 9-seeded Miami Heat.
Yeah.
The loser is out of the playoffs. The winner goes to the next step. Now, in this sense right here, Orlando would travel to play Atlanta. The winner goes into the playoffs. The loser hosts the winner of Miami, Chicago. Right? So let's say the home teams won, right? That would mean that Atlanta advanced. That would mean that Miami advanced, right? Miami would then go on the road to play Orlando for the last spot in the division.
Basically,
the playoffs.
you're playing for the 7 and 8 spot. It's really what it is.
You're playing for the 7-8 spots. All the 7 team needs to do is win one of the games. All the 8 team needs to do is win one of the games. The 9 and 10 need to win both of their games to make it happen, right? Now, if Atlanta loses both games, so let's say that Atlanta loses to Orlando, and then they lose to Chicago, the Spurs pick up a second lottery pick, probably around number 11. But if Atlanta wins one of those games, the Spurs will get a pick at number 15 or 16, more than likely.
Yeah, Mario Cavasso saying, "Pinche hell, effed up my vehicles." Hey, man, some areas got the hell that came down over here in my area, over here by Petranco, Ingram Road, that wasn't that bad. It was kind of small, probably the size of a nickel, and it was small hail. It was just a lot of little hail. But when we're getting further and further down, 1604, like in your area, Mike, it was coming down pretty good. All by Stevens High School and all that,
Yeah. I don't know why San Antonio has become that way, because growing up, that was never the case. We had the occasional rainstorms. I remember back in the early 2000s, the San Antonio had what they called the 100-year storm, 100-year flood.
Oh, yeah.
And then it happened again 3 years later. I was like, wait a minute, I thought it was 100 years. And it happened like within 3 years. But for some reason, San Antonio, especially right where the hill country begins. So that's Castroville, that's Helotes, Leon Springs, kind of right where it starts to get hilly. All hell is breaking loose over there. Even when it snowed the most right there. For some reason, that little corridor there, Highway 16 to Petranco Road, is just, it gets the tornadoes, it gets the lightning strikes. There's something about that area there that's charged, and I don't know what it is.
Look at that. Matt Gomez says Stillwater was bad. It says in Alamo Ranch, we got crushed. Ice hail. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Anybody need some top-notch certified auto body shop, let me know.
That's right.
Yeah, there was baseball-sized hail at the dispensary by Marbach and 410. We missed that, dude.
Baseball-sized hail.
It was coming down. The one that we got here was kind of small. Like I said, it's like near where I live, near Marbach, Ingram Road area, Petranco. It was about the size of a nickel. It was small. Look at Alex Noriega says, marble-sized hail here at the house near Petranco and Tally. Yeah, it was kind of hit or miss, but it was coming down for a little bit. But some areas, man, they got like pounded, man. I saw the video of it. I was like, whoa, it really came down in certain areas. My son was on his way to go pick up my daughter from UTSA because I was working, and he got stuck under an overpass there, man. And there was just cars just honking at each other because everybody's trying to cramp up, get under the overpass because the hail was coming down so bad you couldn't see anything. Thankfully, everything was fine, Didn't get no baseball size hail, thank goodness. But it was pretty bad for a little bit. That was the I guess the thrill of the day, the big news of the day yesterday was the weather coming in. And it was just that it clipped that whole area. It wasn't like widespread through the San Antonio area. It was just this little corridor here.
Why is Shaq talking crap about the Spurs again?
Oh, I don't know. He likes being the heel, man. He likes going ahead and keeping himself relevant. Because you know why? Because Shaq isn't making the trek down here, right? For the Final Four. Guess who is, though? Kenny the Jet Smith. Right? Charles Barkley. And we have a Charles Barkley blimp sighting. And then was it a Magic Johnson sighting here as far as the blimps go? They're flying around town. Rumor, too, that the teams are going to be coming here sometime today. They're going to be ready. So that's going to be big news as well.
Let's give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, because I want to talk about one of his articles on the other side.
Sure. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Again, at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter and on Threads. You can find his articles at kens5.com. More than 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. You can also subscribe on Spotify as well. So there's an article about Shaquille O'Neal that Jeff Garcia has, because Shaq was talking to Clutch B Sports, and the question became about LeBron James and the bubble trophy he had. So during COVID, if you remember, there was a uh, quarantined NBA season, and
Yeah.
I believe they played in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, and they had an entire season played over there, playoffs y todo, everything was happened over there. But it was all done with nobody, with piped in. Remember, they had fake audience, fake
Oh,
applause, and all
back
that stuff,
in the day. Yeah.
fake background noises. But essentially, they were in a gym playing in front of nobody, and the Lakers ended up winning the title. And someone asked Shaq the question, should that count as a title for LeBron James, or should an asterisk be placed in front of that? And he references Tim Duncan's title in 1999, the Spurs' first title, which was a shortened season.
Yeah.
Again, it was not an 82 game season, it was a 50 game season. And the question becomes, should these seasons have asterisks in front of them? Well, the answer is they should, in a way, because it's different. But I want to talk about the differences between the two, because I believe that Duncan's is more legitimate than LeBron's. And the
Yeah.
reason why I feel it's more legitimate is because they actually played an entire season as much as they could, and they went on the road to play games. They had to go into a hostile environment. They had to go in front of other teams' fans. They had to travel to get to where they were going. There was a lot of it resembled an NBA season. You know, for all you can talk about the NBA right now, 82 game season, guess what they want to do? They want to shorten that season anyway, right? They've been talking about shortening that season because the regular season doesn't matter. What do people always say? Regular season doesn't begin until Christmas anyway, right?
No.
So I've always looked at the 99 trophy from I'm a Spurs fan, but I'm going to put it from a perspective of objective as possible. As objective as possible, I look at that and go, that was still a season. They had all the rounds of the playoffs. They had all the traveling. They went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, and you can see here, I'm just showing an excerpt from Jeff's article that's up there on the Ken's 5 website. And it just says Shaq on the Spurs 1999 lockout shortened NBA title. And he's also going to be talking about the Austin Spurs to host the Western Conference semifinal game. You can go ahead and check that on Ken's 5. And it's going to be part of the Locked On Spurs podcast. So you can go ahead and check that out.
Yeah. Hand of a fist says bubble chip was legit. Unique circumstances. Spurs shortened season legit too. I mean, they're all legit, but I just look at the Lakers one as kind of an odd one, because it's the one that least resembles an actual NBA season. They played real games. They had officials there, all that stuff, but there was no crowd involvement. And the fact of the matter is that the crowd does play a role in either motivating your players. There was no such thing as a home game. There was no such thing as a road game. It was just a neutral site. It was just bizarre.
Yeah. The bubble chip was a legitimate chip as well. You know, I think that was a little bit harder in a sense because you didn't have an audience there. It was kind of like a level playing field. There was no home field advantage to speak of. They just had that virtual board pumping in the, like you said, the audience noise in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to play when it's just like, it's like you're playing a pickup game in a gym, but against
Yeah.
professional athletes, and it's being televised, you know? It was just a odd situation. And then the way they had everybody, all the players, they were in like their own rooms, you know, like hotel room or whatever, on that compound that they had over there in Disney, because that's where they were at, the All
Mm-hmm.
Star ESPN All Star Resort or something like that, where they were playing the games at. It was weird, man. It's weird times during COVID, dude.
It
I hope
was
we
weird
never
time.
see that. I hope we never see that again.
All right. You want to do some celebrity news, Joe?
Let's do the celebrity news. You know what we haven't done in a while, Mike? We haven't played the jingle, man. So
All right, let's do it. Congratulations to J Law. Jennifer Lawrence had baby number 2.
Really?
Jennifer Lawrence, best known for Silver Linings Playbook, best known for the Hunger Games series and whatnot. American Hustle just had her second child. Congratulations to her. Do you have a favorite Jennifer Lawrence movie, Joe?
I don't know, man. I watched the Hunger Games. And what was that other one that she did? That dancing movie. What is it
Silver
called?
Linings.
Silver Linings Play, but that wasn't bad. I like that one.
Dude, that was a great movie. Her and Bradley Cooper in that movie.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't watched it, it's a very, very, very good movie. It does have some football presence in there because he's a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. The whole family's a bunch of Eagles fans. They also run a sports book as well, or illegal bookie. It's a great movie. It's about two effed up people who befriend each other, right? And whether or not they can actually have feelings. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie.
What's that other guy's name? The one that she did was like a sci-fi thriller, where they woke her up. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do know. I don't know the name of it, but I know what you're talking about there.
That one was interesting too. I like that
Hunger
one.
Games was good though, man. I like the Hunger Games. My daughter and I used to watch those movies together.
Yeah, and I watched the Hunger Games because my daughter wanted to see it. I remember even taking all my nieces. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was for the first. No, it was the second one, I think. And I took all my nieces, me and my sister-in-law, the wife, and everybody else. We had rounded up all our nieces, and we have a ton of nieces in the family. We had like 2 rows in the theater, nothing but girls there, all watching the Hunger Games for Christmas during the Christmas season. It was a good memory, man.
Jennifer Lawrence was also an X-Men.
Yeah, she was. She was
Yeah,
Mystique. So
that's
we
right.
had that X-Men First Class. You know who else we're going to talk about right now? It's been declared cancer free. Our boy, man, from Full
Dave
House.
Coulier,
Yeah,
the
declared cancer
subject of Atlanta Sports Sets you ought to know back in the mid-90s.
reportedly. Yeah, been diagnosed as cancer free now. So good for him.
Dude, Dave Coulier, it's one of those things. He's an iconic figure because back in the day, if Full House was released today as a new show, not as a reboot, but as a new show, no one would care.
Yeah,
But back in the day, TGIF was a thing, man. You'd watch Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Step by Step. You'd watch Family Matters, and you'd watch Full House.
House. Urkel. I loved Urkel, dude.
Dude, I saw a meme about Urkel because it showed him reunited with everybody else, and he's
Yeah.
sitting next to Laura, and Jaleel White, who played Urkel, is still looking pretty decent, but the one who played Laura, who he was in love with, she kind of chunky. And he's like, yeah, it was like Urkel's not into it anymore. Urkel doesn't care about you anymore.
She'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? What's up?" He'd be like, "Nah, we good."
My favorite thing about Jaleel White was he would be part of the NBA All-Star Weekend for the celebrity basketball game.
Oh
And he'd
yeah.
always ball out, right? He'd always like look at Urkel go, dude. Look at him go. But going back to Full House though, man, every single person on that show had a legit career afterwards. You saw Bob Saget, who recently passed away. His stand-up comedy kept going. John Stamos is still John Stamos and Rob Lowe are vampires. They look the same today as they did 40 years ago, 35 years ago. They're vampires, but Stamos had a career. You saw Candace Cameron going into sales, Hallmark movies, and things like that. Jodie Sweetin came back, and she was part of the Fuller House type thing. It's interesting how they all had something going for themselves, man. And then you go on to like um, back in the 90s, man. Some of those shows. There's going to be a reboot, by the way. A not a reboot. There's going to be a sequel to the TV show A Different World.
Can't
So
believe
there's
that.
Dwayne Wade and Whitley and all that stuff back in the day. It's going to be about one of their kids going to Hillman College 35 years later.
Jeez. I don't know how I feel about that, man. Just, that was
That was
it
a
was
great
kind of
show, Joe.
it was groundbreaking at the time because you didn't really have a show that tackled the subjects of the younger generation,
Mhm.
as this one did. because it dealt with everything from, what it was like growing up, being away from your parents and just finding out who you are as an individual, drug use,
Love.
love, all these things going on. It's like
Mhm.
kind of like showing what it was to be a young adult at the time.
So, Locked On Spurs talking about Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs saying he had a major crush on Jasmine Guy,
Who
who
didn't?
played Whitley.
Who didn't?
She had that one song, the "I Just Want to Hold You."
Yeah.
That was a good song, dude.
But you know what? She was built.
Jeff,
Mm.
go on to Spotify, call up that song, Jeff. That song still holds up, man.
Yeah.
It's a great R&B song from the early '90s. But the show's gonna be about. It's gonna be on Netflix, by the way, and it's a sequel to the 1987 sitcom, according to Deadline.com. And it's gonna be about Whitley and Dwayne's daughter, 35 years later.
Hmm. You know what we also got to do? We got to go ahead and give a very special happy birthday, man, to William Daniels. He was turning 98 years old today.
He looks
He's the star.
familiar.
He's the star of Boy Meets World,
That's
and he was
right.
also the voice of Kit from Knight Rider, man. So pour some out for the OG. 98 years old, dude. Almost
That's
hitting that
amazing.
century mark, man.
That's amazing. Um, I was just thinking about this, Joe. I was just thinking about this. I was at my girlfriend's brother's house, and they were watching Breaking Bad. Walter White,
Yeah.
okay, Bryan Cranston's character. Is Bryan Cranston best known as Walter White, or is he best known as the father on Malcolm in the Middle?
The guy has range, man. He could play the comedic role, but also get very serious about things.
Right.
I think he's going to be best known from Breaking Bad. I think a lot of people don't know so much about Malcolm in the Middle, even though it was a funny show at the time, but there's not enough people who know about it. It's kind of like, what do you call it? Like, has a cult following,
Yeah.
but Breaking Bad is going to be the show he's going to be known for.
Do you know what show I liked back in the day about drugs? I know everyone was all into Breaking
Oh,
Bad, which was a good show. It was a
weeds,
good
bro.
show. Weeds. Which by the way is stupid now because weed's legal in California, right?
But at the
But
time,
but back in the day, early 2000s, Weeds was such a great show, man. And you know what's so funny about Breaking Bad and Weeds? They both have the same theme, and it's not drugs because Walter White's what meth, right, or whatever it
yeah,
is.
crystal meth.
But it's both of them. The patriarchs of the family, right? The husbands did not have life insurance. If they had life insurance, Walter White would never have gone into drugs.
I see where you're going, Mike.
And if it wasn't for the father not having life
Oh,
insurance,
God.
homegirl on weeds would not have had to do that though, man. It's Nancy Botwin was her name, right?
Yeah. If you don't want to get caught in that situation,
If you
call
don't want to have to go into weed selling, if you don't want to have to sell meth because you didn't get life insurance to protect your family, give me a call. 210-508-0369. Joe, I like it when you see my brain moving, Joe. You see it moving.
you know who would be very proud of you? The guy
What's that?
from ESPN right now, man.
Oh, Rob Thompson. Okay, Sam Salinas saying this is the segue to end all segues. Okay, I remember. Okay, so first of all, I do financial services, so retirement services, so IRAs, 401ks, rollovers, annuities, life insurance, disability, long-term care. I've been doing a lot of life insurance these days. But I remember doing a show at San Antonio Sports Star, and they had me do the show with Rob, or I don't know, maybe I was just doing a show, and Rob walked in and was like, dude, that was the most like badass segue of all time. Because sometimes the segue would be like, well, let's talk about blah blah blah, and then you just change
Go
the
into it.
subject, right? And I would take a certain comment, I would build on that comment, and then go to commercial break, and Rob would come in and just go, that was amazing. And I remember doing a show with Rudy J, and I did a segue one time, and Rudy goes, dude, all we talk about are your segues. all we talk about is your segues. He goes, you have a very good segue presence of yourself. So found it to be funny. I
You
like
know,
me
I
a
was
good
gonna
segue.
show. I was gonna show this on the screen here. I got to get it up and pull it up here and see so everybody can see. But I'm gonna say, man, the lead actress from Weeds, Mary Louise Parker, at the time, she was fine, fine, bro.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
She was fine, fine.
yeah.
And look
And
at that. Tony
she
Ornella agrees.
she always had she was always sipping on a straw. That was like her way of like being seductive. But she was always and it wasn't like just like a regular drink of it. She had it like diagonal off to the side.
Yeah,
You know
man.
who else was fine fine? Our girl Sydney Sweeney. She's now single. Joe, I'm calling my shot.
I was gonna
Leonardo DiCaprio, line one. Go get your girl Sydney. But is
How old
Sydney
is
too
she
old
though?
for him? Is Sydney too old for him?
If she's 26, she gone. You already know this, man.
Let's see here. Let's see here. I have no idea what her age is. I think she's too old for him.
Yeah,
Because
she's
again,
man.
famously, she only dates. He only dates people that are under the age of 26, and she is 27 years old.
Yeah,
1 year too old.
she gone.
Yeah, she was engaged, and apparently the marriage is off. The wedding's off. So too bad. So sad for that dude. Um, I don't know if I brought this up, Joe. Remember we were talking about the guy that the gal that was dating Tiger Woods. Did we go into her dating
Yeah.
history?
No.
Okay, so remember the story last week? We showed that photo. If you could call it up, Joe. And it has a Leonardo DiCaprio spin on it. Tiger Woods now has a new girlfriend. And they made it Facebook official. They made it Instagram official. They made it social media official.
Did you want me to pull it up from TMZ?
That's fine.
Okay.
And I forgot her name, but famously, she is the ex-wife of Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, her name is
So
Vanessa Trump.
Vanessa Trump. So Vanessa Trump, her kids, she has 5 kids, are the grandchildren to President Donald Trump. She is now dating Tiger Woods.
Yeah, there's a picture of him right there.
So we thought about it. We joked about this, Joe, about how she dated, but she was married to Donald Trump Jr. Now she's with Tiger Woods. Like, wow, that's amazing, right? Like, how do you get two people that are that high status to fall in love with you?
No.
But she has an even longer dating history, Joe. She dated Leonardo DiCaprio
Damn.
back in the days of him doing Titanic. She dated a Saudi prince.
Damn.
Up until 9/11, Joe.
So she'd been around a little bit then.
And for 5 years, she dated a member of the gang, the Latin Kings, before he was arrested for killing somebody. Dude, Vanessa Trump. I mean, I'm not saying she gets around. She has a type, dude. She has a type. And I bet you that Latin Kings guy was like the love of her life, you know?
Oh God.
She just likes power, Joe.
Hey man, we're gonna go ahead and give a shout out here to our boys that are in the chat right now. They're telling me in the chat that they got a new flyer out for us. So our SAFC Necios over here, they got a flyer out for their tailgate that's going to be happening here on Sunday. It's going to be from 12 to 2:30 under the bridge, food, drinks. They're going to have a piñata too. So if you're free that day, come out, join them, man. It's good times out there at Toyota Field.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I'll have to make a game this year, man. Can't make it this week. Like I said, I'm going to try to figure out my flight arrangements. I have a family member in the hospital in California that I want to go check up on. Maybe I'll do the show while I'm over there in California. Maybe that's a possibility. But it's kind of up in the air, Joe. So that might be. I'll probably do tomorrow's show Thursday and Friday though, kind of up in the air. We'll figure that one out.
Yeah, Friday show, I'm kind of up in the air with that one as well because I'm supposed to be going to Rockport that day, but I don't know if I'm going to leave earlier in the day or I'm going to leave later in the day. I'll find out more. But I've already got the place, for me and the kids and everything, booked for the weekend. It's a really nice house, beach house.
Nice.
You know how they have those on stilts. You know how it's kind of
Oh
high up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's 2 levels, and then on top of that, on the very top, they have another, like, sky deck, a big old deck that they put on top of the roof itself. So you
Hmm.
got a good view, of the bay and everything, especially in the evening watching sunsets and all that. So I like to go up there with the kids, have me a drink or something. My kids are old enough to drink too, so we go out there and we have a little drink or something and watch the sunset, just hang out, listen to some music, have a good family time out there together. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get in the water at the beach because the weather's supposed to change and it's gonna get cold, but nonetheless, we're gonna just go out there and have a good time and relax.
That's badass, dude. Rockport's a great place.
Yeah,
I know they got devastated by those storms a
the
handful of
hurricane.
years ago, but
Yeah.
they're back up and at it. Tonight, Spurs 7 p.m. tip off at the Frost Bank Center against the Orlando Magic. Orlando has a reason to play, man. Orlando's trying to get that seeding in the top 10 of the play-in tournament there in the Eastern Conference. Orlando favored by 3.5 points. I'm going to say Orlando wins by 8. That's my prediction. Only 8 games left in the regular season for the Spurs. As they end the year, we'll be looking forward to the June draft. The NFL draft is coming up in the next 3 weeks or so, Joe. We got to do something for that, Joe.
Yeah, we do, man. We have the draft coming up here. We're gonna have to do something for the NFL draft, and then we got to figure out what we're gonna wind up doing for the NBA draft. Last year, we had a great get together with everybody.
We did.
And I would like to go ahead and do it again. Maybe we should go to Pete's place or something.
Dude, I loved it. You know who else loved Pete's Place?
Oh,
Chica.
she did.
Chica loved it. She goes, man, this is my environment because Chica is you know, she's a rural gal, dude. She likes she doesn't like the city. We went to Houston for the Astros game yesterday. We got the hell out after the game. We had no desire to be in the city of Houston. We just wanted to go watch a baseball game. We drove all the way back. It's about 50 some odd miles back from the stadium to the house.
Yeah.
Um, we just hate the city, and we're trying to get further and further away. But at least Helotes, trying to convince her for us to look in a home in Helotes, dude. That's what we're looking at right now.
Look at Tony right now.
Possibility.
He's such an ass. He says, "Mediocre show, guys. Great job." Don't forget to hit that like button too, Tony. Don't forget to hit that like button. You know what? The Spurs are still the Cowboys of the NBA. I said it. And what's the other one? The one take that you did like that I said that you wish that was you that thought of it, where I said Prime Kawhi better than Wemby now. No, he's just kidding. Yeah, but it's great, dude. I'm glad that Chica liked it. Maybe she'll come out if we do the NBA draft
Yeah.
lottery there, or the NBA or the NFL draft as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Hey, she'll go any place where there's alcohol, man.
Yeah,
That's my
pretty
girl.
much. She'll just be sitting there drinking, and she got a little drink in her hand. She's fine.
Yep. Everyone have a fantastic day. Hit the like button on the way out. We will be back tomorrow talking more sports and pop culture. Share this, by the way. If you have a Facebook page, if you have a Twitter account, whatever, share our link. Not only to subscribe, but also to share today's show. Let people know what we're doing, man. Be badass. If you also want to sponsor the show, reach out to me or Joe. It's very affordable. Get your name out there. And we appreciate all the support that we have, man. We'll be back tomorrow. Joe, have a good day.
You too. Bye.